phylum Platyhelminthes. So before we go to the phylum Platyhelminthes, let us remind the hierarchy of phylum Platyhelminthes. The taxonomic hierarchy of phylum Platyhelminthes, that we go first. Then after we go with the characteristic feature. Definitely hierarchy is going to be do some help in identifying the characteristic features of that phylum Platyhelminthes. As we said, the kingdom Animalia. So that's what I'm saying from the beginning. Knowing the hierarchy is going to be the Kingdom Animalia series. Even I am requesting you, if you are not well and good here, that go for watch the Kingdom Animalia series in the playlist of YouTube. So there you will find. Okay, Kingdom Animalia. I hope answers. I think I will get from you.
Eumetazoa.
Eumetazoa. Right.
Eumetazoa.
Okay, the subkingdom Eumetazoa. Great.
Bilateria triploblastica.
Bilateria.
Beta triploblastica.
Very good. Bilateria or triploblastica. Bilateria or triploblastica. Okay. Division.
Protostomia.
Division protostomia. Division protostomia. Okay. Wait, I got some small spelling mistake. Protostomia. Next. Subdivision.
Acylometa.
Subdivision Acylometa. Okay, so you are able to know this taxonomic category means that I mean kingdom Animalia, subkingdom Eumetazoa, grade Bilateria or Triploblastica, division Protostomia, subdivision Acylometa, subdivision Acylometa. So with this, the phylum Platyhelminthes as usual, that's a formality here that it belongs to the phylum. We are talking about the phylum Platyhelminthes only. So phylum Platyhelminthes. Okay. Then next, so with this, what we'll come to know that now the type of symmetry in phylum Platyhelminthes.
Bilateral symmetry.
Very good. Bilateral symmetry. Type of symmetry, bilateral symmetry. Next, number of germ layers.
3 germ layers.
3 germ layers.
3 germ layers. 3 germ layers are present. Bilateral symmetry. 3 germ layers. Type of organization.
Organ system grade of organization.
Organ system grade of organization is present. Organ system grade of organization. Actually, we are learning platyhelminthes at present. So how we come to know all these issues? If you remember the Kingdom Animalia classification series, so that if you remember that they are all belongs to phylum Platyhelminthes, belongs to the grade Bilateria or Triploblastica. All these 3 points will come to know. That phylum Platyhelminthes grade belongs to the grade Bilateria or Triploblastica. That's why we are able to say they are having bilateral symmetry and they are having 3 germ layers. 3 germ layers are present and the type of organization, organ system grade of organization. Here we have some controversy. According to the Kingdom Animalia, we said that organ system grade of organization. But straight away when it was discussed over in structural organization chapter, that they said it as organ grade of organization. Accordingly, we'll take the decision in examination. Accurate organ grade of organization. If you don't find organ grade, you will select organ system grade of organization. Okay. So organ grade of organization. Then division protostomia. With it, what will come to know? Let us see. What is the fate of blastopore?
Mouth.
Mouth.
Very good. The fate of blastopore is mouth. Next, type of cleavage.
Spiral
Spiral
tube.
and
Spiral and
determinate.
determinate.
Spiral and determinate. Type of cleavage is spiral and determinate. Okay. Type of embryo.
Mosaic embryo.
Mosaic embryo.
Mosaic embryo. Very good. Type of embryo. Mosaic embryo. Okay. Next, type of okay. So that fate of blastopore, type of cleavage, type of embryo, all these information we just came to learn already in Kingdom Animalia. We learned that, just we came to understand Because of that, we additionally we added 3 more points. Subphylum Platyhelminthes. Mouth is the fate of blastopore. Type of cleavage is spiral determinate. Type of embryo is the mosaic embryo. Now, the type of body cavity.
Neither secondary nor
Cylometa.
primary.
Very good.
Absence
Neither
of
primary body cavity nor secondary body cavity. We call it as acoelom. Neither primary body cavity, that means there is no cavity, simply we are saying. Neither primary body cavity nor secondary body cavity. So what do you mean? That they are exhibiting a characteristic feature called acoelom. That what do you call that kind of body cavity as acoelom. Okay, so body cavity is absent. So how we come to know that before we start the phylum? That because they are belongs to the subdivision Acoelometa. Okay, so that means that advantages and benefits of learning kingdom Animalia series. Bilateral symmetry, 3 germ layers, organ grid of organization, fate of blastopore, mouth, type of cleavage, spiral indeterminate, type of embryo, mosaic embryo, type of body cavity, neither primary body cavity nor secondary body cavity. So all these we came to know because we know that the phylum Platyhelminthes belongs to the kingdom Animalia, subkingdom Eumetazoa, grade Bilateria or Triploblastica, division Protostomia, subdivision Acoelometa. So being belongs to the Bilateria grade, that we say they have bilateral symmetry, 3 germ layers, organ grade of organization. And the fate of blastopore is mouth, type of cleavage, spiral determinate, type of embryo, mosaic embryo, all this because of division protostomia. And acoelom, body cavity that belongs to the subdivision acoelometa. That's why we say that they don't have either primary body cavity nor secondary body cavity. Okay. Now we need to know here that the classes of phylum Platyhelminthes. The phylum Platyhelminthes is having 3 classes: Turbularia, Trematoda, and Cystoda. The phylum Platyhelminthes is having 3 classes: Turbularia, Trematoda, and Cystoda. Okay, so let me write the 3 classes first. Then after, gradually we'll add some points there. But slowly we go and adding some points will fill that area. Turbularia. Okay, then Trematoda, then Cystoda. There are 3 classes: Turbularia, Trematoda, and Cystoda. So phylum Platyhelminthes include Turbularia, Trematoda, and Cystoda. Like this. Okay, 3 classes are there. Then we add some points here, but before that, let me introduce 3 animals here. That was the individual representation of 3 classes, 3 animals. We'll add some animals here. Here, we'll go with the Dugitia or Convoluta, we used to say. So let me add that example for Turbularia, Dugitia. So this is the Dugitia, where mouth is present on the ventral side, like this, Dugitia. Next, Trematoda. When it comes to the Trematoda, we have a best example for Trematoda is Fasciola hepatica. Fasciola hepatica. Then Cystoda. In case of Cystoda, we are taking tapeworm. I introduce all this one after another to you when running through the classification. So, the Trematoda and Cystoda. Okay, so particularly for the Cystoda, segmentation is there. Segmentation is a characteristic feature of this class. So I am taking the representation is for tapeworm with 4 suckers and hooks are present here. So this is Dugitia. Okay, so Dugitia. Okay, so I am introducing fasciula for you here. Fasciole. Okay, then here tapeworm, Taenia solium. We use it to say. Okay, so Taenia solium, Taenia, tapeworm. Okay, so these are the basic issues. So we'll continue with when we continue with the general characters, we'll come to know everything here. As I said to you, that general characters, we are following a format from the beginning, that we need to go with the habit and habitat first. Then after the nutrition, how do they collect the food material that we have to go, then locomotion, digestion, then respiration, circulation, excretion. You'll be adapted for this slowly. Excretion, circulation. I got a spell mistake. Excretion and the nervous, skeletal, then reproduction. Skeletal and reproduction. So these are the issues to be followed over. That if any differences are there, we'll go into the individual classes. So first of all, let me show you that habit and habitat. That most of the phylum Platyhelminthes, habitat, phylum Platyhelminthes, most of them is a parasitic form. That means in case of Trematoda and Cystoda, parasitic are there present, and not only parasite, free living and as well as parasitic. Both free living and parasitic forms are present here. Free living and parasitic. Okay, so that our best examples, whatever we have, the like Trematoda, then Cystoda, Fasciula is a parasite, and Cystoda, tapeworm, we use it to say that is also a parasite here. Complete free living animals are present in Turbolaria. In case of Turbolaria, free living animals are present. Okay. Next, the nutrition, they are about talking about the food collection here. Parasitic mode of nutrition is present. And when you ask habitat, they are living in the host cell. Parasites live in the host cell. Free living are going to be aquatic. Okay, locomotion. Actually, there is no special locomotory organ, not necessary even for parasitic form. But we say turbolarians are some free living, isn't it? So for them, we need to follow up, give the turbolaria. Rhabdites are present. Mucus secreting structures. Rhabdites are present here for locomotion. Mucus secreting structures, rhabdites are present for locomotion. So let me increase the font size. So rhabdites is a characteristic feature of turbolaria. Okay. Next, digestion. Need to talk about the digestion. So what is the digestive system, how it is? Okay, so digestion is, for that we need to go for the type of alimentary canal here. You may have seen over. This is mouth. Mouth is there on ventral side. Did you observe that? I did a small magic here. So that means that whatever there in text I drawn like that. So that means actually Dugacia should be drawn like this. This is Dugacia, planaria. Okay, so usually call them as planarians. Okay, so that is the dorsal side. When you draw the ventral side, it will be like this. And mouth is present on the ventral side. Oh my god, size difference. Okay, wait, I'll draw the same size. Oh, both will last. Okay, so ventral side. This is ventral side. Okay, so that means mouth is there on ventral side. So what I did here, I did like this. So that means here ventral side is folded. This area, you see here, ventral side is folded, and I am showing mouth there itself. So mouth is on ventral side. Then here in case of Trematoda, the mouth is surrounded by suckers. Mouth is surrounded by suckers, and the alimentary canal is little bit special. That alimentary canal, no anus, as we learned earlier even, there is no anus. That means only one opening is present here, and that is only mouth, no anus, single opening, and bifurcated alimentary canal is present. Such alimentary canal is called bifurcated alimentary canal. So bifurcated, bifid, are we saying? bifurcated elementary canal is the characteristic feature of these animals. Okay, so what about here? That means in case of turbularium, branched elementary canal is present here. You can, I think you can show clearly here. The elementary canal is branched like this. The branched elementary canal. Okay, so that will write here. That digestive system elementary canal is different in different classes. Okay, so branched gut. Gut or elementary canal, no matter. So branched gut present here. So we said bifurcated elementary canal. So along with that, in case of Trematoda, we have two suckers. Have you seen this? That one sucker I drawn already. Oral sucker we use it to say. And one more sucker on ventral side we call ventral sucker or acetabulum. So this is oral sucker. And here it is ventral sucker or acetabulum. Ventral sucker, which is also called commonly as acetabulum. Do remember this. Very important. The ventral sucker or acetabulum. That is a specialty. That when you come to the cystoda, the very interesting thing here, there is no elementary canal. Elementary canal is absent completely. Elementary canal is absent. Then doubt comes here that how it eats the food material. For that you need to know who is tapeworm is. Tapeworm is the parasite of human being. This Taenia solium is the parasite of human being. Where it lives? It lives in intestine. It lives in human intestine. So that means human eat, human digest. When what tapeworm do? The 2 meters long, very interesting parasite here that along the length of small intestine, you'll find this tapeworm. So human eat, human digest. What tapeworm will do? Tapeworm will absorb whatever the digested food material. For that, you see on the body, the tegument bear microvilli. Body cover is called tegument. The tegument bear microvilli. With the body surface, it absorbs. Through that body surface, it is going to absorb the food stuff. Very interesting. That means there is no mouth, there is no anus, there is no elementary canal at all. Then what it will do? It is parasitic form, which lives in the human small intestine. So it allows everything to be done by human being. Human eat, human digest, and our parasite, our guest will absorb. That's it. That is the speciality of them. So how it stay in small intestine? That is one more interesting thing. Have you seen the head-like structure there that we call scolex? So in that scolex, the four suckers are present. So these are the suckers. I can't show the fourth one. That fourth line is there on other side. Analgo simham venakala vaikam. And hooks are present. So with the help of these hooks and suckers, this is hook and this is sucker. With the help of hooks and suckers, it attaches the human small intestine. So that is their specialty. Okay, so then with the help of tegument having microvilli, microtrichs, particularly we say, that absorb the digested foodstuffs. Okay, so that is the interesting issues of turbularia, trematoda, and cystoda. Turbularia, trematoda, and cystoda. That is all about the digestion. As we said, single opening is present. There is mouth, but there is no anus. Like Cnidaria also, yeah, they did the same, isn't it? The gastrovascular cavity of phylum Cnidaria is even having single opening. Now respiration. Respiration through diffusion, no matter. In all that respiration through diffusion. Okay, so parasitic form, some of them even go aerobic respiration, that without oxygen they manage. Circulation. Circulation. So what to say about circulation? Actually, we discussed this in AC alone. That I shown you there fascial hepatica itself. So the in case, let me draw that elementary canal again here, the bifurcated elementary canal and body cavity filled with mesenchymal tissue. Did you remember? I said over the total body cavity between the tegument and elementary canal, the total body cavity filled with mesenchymal tissue. Okay, the cells of mesenchymal tissue from one cell to the another cell, just they are going to transfer the food material. So that means in between the cells itself, the transfer of food materials is going to happen. So that means one cell to the another cell, the food materials are going to be circulated over. So simply we say no circulatory system, but transfer of the nutrients happen from between one cell to the another cell. Okay, excretion. Excretion, the very important here. Here I need to introduce flame cells, excretory material, flame cells, the special nephridia. We call them as a primitive type of nephridia, a protonephridia, we used to say. The flame cells are present. How do the flame cells are seen over? The flame cells, and why they call like so? The flame cells here, the particular cells which contain moving flagella, like, okay, so they're having this flagella with their movements. They use it to attract the excretory wastes in the from the body cavity. So what do you say? Flame cells. So that the movement look like the flagellary movements of flame cell look like flame. That's why they called as flame cell. You do remember it as flame cell, protonephridium. Okay. Next, nervous. Nervous we need to discuss. The ladder-like nervous system is present here. Lateral longitudinal nerve cords, which are connected by the transverse nerve cord. So how it look like? How it look like the nervous system? It look like ladder-like nervous system. We can see here. So ladder-like nervous. That's ladder-like nervous system is present here. That parasite doesn't require sense organs. So that's why no much stress on the sense organs there. Then skeletal. So this what we just talked about, the mesenchymal tissue. Mesenchymal tissue, whatever we say, that only acts as a hydrostatic skeleton. Mesenchymal tissue which fills the body cavity, that acts as a hydrostatic skeleton. Okay, that means there is no special hard material here to act as a skeleton. The mesenchymal tissue. We said this feature as acelome also, I do remember. I'll make you to remember this once again. Acelome we have learned separately. We have learned it separately. Acelome, that mesenchymal tissue which acts as a hydrostatic skeleton. There is no special skeleton. Reproduction. And reproduction, that we need to discuss about individually here. In case of Turbellaria, some regeneration power is there, that to be remembered. Regeneration, that sexual reproduction in the form of regeneration. And about the Trematoda. Trematoda is famous for having larval forms. We'll discuss in the other page here. Let's talk about Trematoda. The very interesting parasite it is, the Trematoda. Here, Fasciola hepatica we are talking, isn't it? The Fasciola hepatica. Okay, so when we talk about the Fasciola hepatica is commonly called as liver fluke. So I'll give a brief history of Fasciola hepatica to you, that you will be able to understand that what is the speciality of them. So let me write first Fasciola hepatica, the scientific name of the parasite, which it is commonly called as liver fluke. Okay, so where it stay? The parasites stay in the liver of bile ducts of the sheep. Bile ducts of liver of sheep. So that we have to say it as definite host. That means the major host is sheep. So where it lives in the sheep, it lives in the sheep bile ducts of liver of sheep. That means in the liver, whatever the bile ducts are present, that there it lives. Okay, then intermediate host. The secondary host or intermediate host is going to be snail. Intermediate host is snail. Okay, so this is a brief history of the Fascial hepatica. Now I am going here, that we came to know that how it rotates from liver of sheep to the intermediate course snail that you need to see. So this is the fasciula hepatica, which hepatica. What is hepatica? Hepatica means liver, fasciula line. That means it lives in the liver. When it lives in the liver, it looks like a line in the liver of sheep. Okay, in that way they said it as fasciula hepatica. Okay, so when the fasciula hepatica lay the eggs laid out by the fasciula hepatica is going to turn into a larval form called as miracidium. A larval form. The eggs will run into miracidium that develop into a larval form called miracidium. These miracidium larvae, which release in the water and they become, that means through the fecal matter of the sheep, it release out from the sheep and they become another larval form there that is called sporocyst. Okay, sporocyst. Then the sporocyst in the cystic layer containing structure, the sporocyst will become radia, another larval form, radia. Okay, next, radia will develop into cercaria, another larval form. So that means one egg develops into miracidium that they would transform into sporocyst, then radia, then cercaria. These cercaria stages enters into the snail. All these are stages in water at present. Enters into the snail and there it will become metacercaria and metacercaria will develop into adult. So that's it. That means you need to know that they are having so many larval forms, indirect development. Okay, so what is the specialty then? So imagine if there is one egg. Okay, let us take only one egg. Here that much number of eggs are not present. Let us take only one egg. Okay, so let us see how many individuals will be developed with one egg. One egg develops into one larval form. That means one miracidium. Okay, one miracidium will develop into one sporocyst. Okay, here onward the story begins. One sporocyst develops into minimum 10 to 14. I'm taking 10 radia. Okay, that means one sporocyst develops into 10 radia. Okay, so 10 radia. Each radia then develops into the 10 cercaria minimum. That means here how many it became? 100 cercaria will become metacercaria 100 and that metacercaria develops into adult. So you see here minimum one egg gives 100 individual, that is a speciality. If you observe that production capacity is there for the larval form, not for the adult. Adult is producing okay, but not only the adult, that larva is also, particularly these two larval form. Okay, so if larva produce larva, if larva able to produce larva, if larva produce larva, another larva, what do you call the feature as? The feature said to be another larvae. The feature is called polyembryony. That feature is said to be polyembryony. Very, very, very important to be remembered and a very special character, isn't it? That if that means you just feel it, you'll understand. For example, in case of human being, from one zygote, if one zygote gives two kids, we use it to say them as twins, isn't it? Twins will be surprised, and in the total hospital, the discussion will go on in that room. The twins are there. If from one zygote, if three people comes at a time, what do you call triplets? Okay, that the total city will say about this. Okay, at least a colony. Then, if one zygote at one time, the four members will come. We call quadruplets. So definitely, it's going to be a biggest news, breaking news in all news channels in the city. Then imagine five, six, five. That means the whole world will look towards that hospital, isn't it? But now you see here, one zygote is giving how many individuals? 100. That is a speciality. Now I think you need to be surprised, and already I feel so you are surprised. So that means one individual, one egg is giving 100 individual. That is a speciality of this particular parasite. That parasite. Why? What's the problem actually? That why one egg only? Why don't it release so many eggs? You may know that between the body wall and alimentary canal, there is no space, isn't it? The total body space is filled with mesenchymal tissue. That the blue line I did over. Okay, the red one is gut inside. So that total space is filled with mesenchymal tissue. That's why it has to release very less number of eggs. It can release only less number of eggs. Okay, so that's the problem. but but a parasite should produce large number of individuals. But being acyclovir condition, it can't produce more number of eggs because no space in the body. So that's why it has shown a special feature to overcome. Being acyclovir, even it was a special feature it was shown. That what do you say the feature as polyembryo. And the things to be remembered here in this particular area that several larval stages are present like Miracidium, Porosis, Radiant, Cercaria, Metacercaria. And in that, particularly two larvae, Porosis and Radia, are producing more larval forms. And larva produce larva, the feature we call polyembryony. Larva produce larva, the feature is said to be polyembryony. Okay. Next, about cystoda, which is more interesting cystoda. That we'll discuss little about cystoda in the next chapter in biology in human welfare. But let me give some basics of cystoda here to you. The basics of cystoda, that class cystoda. So in case of class cystoda, that what example we said? We said about the tapeworm, isn't it? The tapeworm with body head, which head-like structure. We can't say it as head. Scolex, neck, and the strobila. This is what we are seeing. This is strobila, segmented portion of the tapeworm, strobila. Okay. Earthworm is also having segments, isn't it? But there is a difference. The earthworm segment size and shape is going to be equal. So that's why you can't compare the earthworm segments with these segments. So that we call that this type of segmentation which is there in tapeworm is pseudo-metameric segmentation. Such kind of segmentation is said to be pseudo-metameric segmentation. We can say. Not true segmentation like earthworm, not true segmentation. We call such kind of segmentation as pseudo-metameric segmentation. Okay. Then, as I said to you already, the two specialties I already said to you. Hooks and suckers are present, which are holding with the help of hooks and suckers. It is holding to the small intestine and body bear microvilli or microtrachs to absorb the foodstuffs. Okay. So one more and very interesting thing here about the reproduction in case of. So we can classify the segments of this particular as three. Immature segment in general called here as proglottid. Every segment is called proglottid. Immature proglottid, mature proglottid, and gravid proglottid. Immature proglottid, mature proglottid, and gravid proglottid. Okay, so no need to go for these kind of details. I'll explain there in biology and human welfare chapter. But only thing you need to learn here from this, that interesting thing, that we till the time we learn definition like that, if male female reproductive systems are separate, we call it as a unisexual. If both are present in the same animal, we call it as bisexual, isn't it? But the definition should be changed for this animal, that every segment is having male female reproductive systems. That means I am talking about tapeworm, Taenia solium. Okay, so Taenia solium, when you talk about these kind of segments or proglottids are present, nearly 900 proglottids or 900 segments are present. Just you expect here that every segment is having male female reproductive system. That means 900 male female reproductive systems are present in single animal. Based on that only we classify like this. Immature male female reproductive systems are not much developed. That means they are now growing. That means here from here onwards new segments will form. We call that process as stabilization. So now only formed, that's why not much developed reproductive system. Next, mature. Here we can see well-developed male-female reproductive systems we can see here. Okay. So then finally when it comes, the reproductive system is, uh, um, population will be over and reproductive system is with X only. That means total reproductive systems are degenerated. It contain nearly 35,000 X can be seen. That means population is over. Okay, so that means that 35,000 eggs are present. That containing nearly 30 to 35,000. You can see in some books as 40,000 even. Even you take it, you calculate it now, how many eggs it is going to produce? 900 into 35,000. So just imagine. So how that faster it is going to be. So immature means male female reproductive systems are underdeveloped, less developed. Going to be developed. Mature male female reproductive systems are well developed. Okay, in every segment, in these segments. And last 200 300 segments are called gravid proglatid. That population is over, male female reproductive systems are degenerated. That 30 to 35,000 eggs containing segments are present. Okay, these eggs are going to be released out. The low total life history will discuss in biology and human welfare chapter. So this is all about cystoda. Okay, so this much actually not there, but if you learn like a story, you will remember that the main content of this particular, you will be able to differentiate that Turbularia, Trematoda, Cystoda. So in that way, I just went a little bit more here. The Turbularia, Trematoda, and Cystoda, along with the general characters we are seeing. Let us see here how it is given in textbook. Phylum Platyhelminthes. You see our tapeworm that on the right side of the diagram, tapeworm having hooks as well as suckers. These are hooks actually. Hooks and suckers are present in case of tapeworm. Very famous parasite. I'll give you a brief of tapeworm in the biology human. These are the hooks. And you see here, these are the suckers. 4 suckers are present. Again, another side we can see. Okay, so let me talk about the characteristic features of this particular the phylum, which we discussed. Then how it is given in text, we are now moving. They have dorsoventrally flattened body, hence called flatworms. Mostly endoparasite found in animals, including human beings. We are talking about tapeworm is there in human being. The flatworms are first bilateral symmetrical animal. First bilateral because in the grade Bilateria, the first phylum is Platyhelminthes. That's why first bilateral symmetrical, first triploblastic animals we can see. And these are acoelomate animal with organ system level. That's what I'm saying. That don't be confused with. And then in some organ system is given in structural organization chapter. In this chapter, we'll find organ system. In first chapter, we'll find organ system level. So that's why the exact answer when it comes organ level. Okay, if organ level of organization, that word is not found in the option, you select organ system level. So give primary importance to the organ level only. Okay, so organ level. Okay, so if you don't find this option in examination, you prefer organ system level. Okay, so organ level of organization is present. Body is not segmented, but some exhibit pseudo-metamerism. For this word, the meaning we came through. That body exhibit no segmentation in the body, but some exhibit pseudo-metamerism. Who is that some? Tapeworm, which belongs to the class Cystoda, is exhibiting this kind of feature. Okay. Next, they show moderate cephalization, but unidirectional and unidirectional movement. Being bilaterally symmetrical animals, they are. So in bilaterally symmetrical animals, cephalization, unidirectional movement are the characteristic feature. We discussed in symmetry. So this is the first bilateral symmetrical. That's why slight cephalization. What is cephalic? Cephalic means head. So development of the head is started here in this file because these are bilaterally symmetrical animals. Okay. Next, hooks and suckers are present in parasitic forms. Parasitic forms are having hooks and suckers. Let me see. In case of Cystoda, I have shown that that particular suckers. In case of Cystoda, suckers are there. And in case of Trematoda also, that I said over, there are two suckers are present. Hooks are present only in Cystoda. In case of Trematoda, that we are seeing suckers, two suckers are present. Okay, so two suckers in Trematoda. In if we come to the Cystoda, we can say that four suckers are present along with the hooks because being parasites there. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back. So they show moderate cephalization, unidirectional movement, hooks and suckers are present in the parasitic form. Digestive system, if present, why he said if present, means in Cystoda it is absent. As mouth only, anus is absent. Okay. Next, nervous system is moderately developed with brain, cephalic ganglia, and nerve cords forming ladder-like system that I shown to you. The ladder-like system of nervous system. Nervous system is ladder-like. Let me show you. So here it is. I shown a ladder-like nervous system. Mouth is present, but anus is absent. Elementary canal. Okay. Next. Okay, then the specialized excretory cells called flame cells, protonephridia, and they are help in osmoregulation. What is osmoregulation? Water balance, we say osmoregulation. Generally, remember, including human kidney, that primarily they are helpful for osmoregulation. Primarily, they are helpful for osmoregulation. Okay, so then after we have to say they are for excretion, but primarily they are helpful for osmoregulation. That you need to remember. Okay, that you need to remember. So what is osmo? Osmo means water. Regulation means control. That means excretory organs or primary function is going to be osmoregulation. Secondary function is excretion. So from here onwards that we started the scenario. Flame cells or protonephridia help in osmoregulation and excretion. Sexes are not separate. That means bisexual, we can see. Bisexual or monoecious, we can see. A fertilization is internal and development is indirect with many stages. Fertilization is internal, that means inside the body, and the development is with many stages like miracidium, sporocyst, radia, cercaria, metacercaria. I show all these larval forms to you in case of class Trematode. Miracidium, sporocyst, radia, cercaria, then metacercaria. In that sporocyst and radia is showing a special characteristic feature. A larva produce another larva. Many number of larvae. That what do you say that feature as polyembryony. That is the next character they are saying here. Polyembryony is common in some, like liver fluke, that we are shown in liver fluke only. Some members like planaria possess high degree of regeneration capacity. Regeneration capacity. They are more in planaria, that means turbularia. Okay, so we'll go along with that, the classification also. Classification of the phylum Platyhelminthes. It includes three classes: Turbularia, Trematoda, and Cystoda. Okay, so for Turbularia, the representation you need to see first of all, Turbularia. That let me show you in the frame. This is the representation of Turbularia. While reading characters, you need to look towards the diagram. They're mostly free-living, unsegmented platforms. Body wall bear cilia and mucus-forming structures called rhabdoids, which occur in the epidermal cells. Okay. Reproduction is by asexual and sexual method. Development is indirect, which include a free-swimming larva called Muller's larva. Turbularian larva is called Muller's larva. Okay. Next, Trematoda. So need to keep fasciola hepatica, liver fluke in the mind, Trematoda. They are commonly called as flukes. Fasciola hepatica is called liver fluke. Cystosoma is called blood fluke. That Paragonimus westermani is called lung fluke. That they are commonly called flukes. They are parasitic on other animals. Body is covered by thick cuticle. This is the body is covered by thick cuticle. Okay. Next, what we say, two suckers are present. One is oral sucker, here it is, one is oral sucker, and other is ventral sucker or acetobulum. That ventral sucker or acetobulum. You'll find here. This is ventral sucker. Let me, here it is. So, okay, that where two suckers. One is oral sucker and other is a ventral sucker, acetobulum. Okay. Next, mouth is anterior. This is mouth. Wait. I'm getting. We'll take blue. Mouth is anterior. And the intestine is bifurcated as I shown to you, and I'll show here also. The intestine is bifurcated. Bifurcated intestine. Bisexual, that means male, female reproductive systems are present in same animal. Life history is complex with many hosts. That and different host means, as I said to you, in case of Fascial hepatica, sheep and snail are the host. Okay, in case of Paragonimus, a lung fluke it is, just for general knowledge. Human is the host, and the snail and crab, three hosts are present in them. The life history includes many hosts in different types of stages like Miracidium, Sporosis, Radia, Sarcaria. So that's about the Trematoda. Examples, fasciola, liver fluke, cystosoma or bilharzia. Blood fluke, fasciola, liver fluke, cystosoma or bilharzia. Blood fluke. Okay, next, class Cystoda. Class Cystoda, we have to talk about. Class Cystoda is, they are commonly called as tapeworms. Class Cystodes are commonly called tapeworms. Wait, let me erase this. It's not going. Why? Oh my God, it's not going. Okay, so we do one thing. Wait a minute. Out of the Turbularia, Trematoda, and Cystoda, that we have seen the Turbularia and Trematoda, and now we are moving with Cystoda. Class Cystoda. They are commonly called tapeworms. That commonly called tapeworms. Okay, before we go here, we see the diagram. This is the tapeworm. Okay, all are endoparasite. Actually, the original size of the scolex is like this. That means small pinhead sized structure. That is not microscopy. You can see this with naked eye. So original diagram, that means I shown clearly to you. I made little size increase here, scolex. Actual structure in the diagram, you can see the text diagram. That is size, actual size. This is the size. Very, very smaller in size. The scolex we see. Body is covered by protective syncytial tegument. Total body is covered by protective syncytial tegument. What is syncytial? That multinucleated condition, that no cell membrane between the cells, we call that condition as syncytial condition. They show pseudometamerism. What is pseudometamerism? Body is divided into segment-like units called proglatids, which are not true segments. Why? How you can say they are not true segments? Simple. We can, with that the segment size and shape is not equal. Some are immature, which their structure will be like this, a rectangle. I'll show here. This is clear. Okay, so mature proglatids are going to be square. Okay, then the length of the gravid proglatids will be like this. Length more, width less in case of gravid. Okay, that square, length and width equal in case of mature. No need to remember, just for information. The length is less, width is more in case of immature. So that much difference is there. That we say definitely that as a pseudo-metameric segmentation. Okay. So body is divided into segment-like units called proglatids. Each segment is called proglatid, and which they are not true segments. Scolex bear hooks and suckers. Yeah, I just shown there. Why should you go there? Let me show you here. These are the hooks and suckers. Scolex. This is scolex. Total structure is said to be scolex. Scolex bear hooks and suckers. And Bothridia, leaf-like outgrowths. That here itself we'll find Bothridia, leaf-like outgrowths. For what it is? To attach to the small intestine. That means anchoring, we use it to say here. Otherwise, in the human small intestine, they may move on. They, along with the foodstuffs, they may be flooded over from there. So that's why they attach to the wall of small intestine with the help of these hooks and suckers itself. Okay. So the hooks, suckers, and Bothridia, leaf-like outgrowths, Bothridia, we say, they are bisexual, monoecious, we can say, bisexual. Male, female reproductive systems are present in same animal, we can say bisexual. As I said over, that speciality of them. Every segment is having both male, female reproductive system. That means 900 segments are there, means 900 male, female reproductive systems are present. That is their specialty. Okay. So the life history is complex with many hosts and development is indirect with Cysticercus larva. For example, if we take tapeworm, the host is two hosts we have. Human is primary host, definite host, and secondary or intermediate host is a pig. Pertinia solium, pork tapeworm, that's why we use it to say. Pertinia saginata, that is the beef tapeworm we call. Echinococcus granulosus is called dog tapeworm. Okay, so that's it, that their specialities. So to be remembered, larva, Cysticercus. Okay, Cysticercus larva. In case of cysted, that means a wide diversity is there in the three classes: Turbularia, Trematoda, and Cystoda. All they are having the greater diversity. The greater diversity they have. Okay, so that's it about these particular three classes and the phylum Platyhelminthes. The phylum Platyhelminthes. So this is the tapeworm. I'll show you the tapeworm. So there you can see the hooks and suckers. Little size need to be reduced over so that you can see clearly. Okay. So that's it. This is the tapeworm. Okay, next. Some more animals are there here that we need to go with our Fasciola hepatica, liver fluke, and the Dugitia. Dugitia and Convoluta, example for Turbularia. Fasciola, liver fluke, Cystosoma, Bilhargia, blood fluke we use it to say. Then Cystoda class, Cystoda include Taenia solium, which is called pork tapeworm. Taenia solium, pork tapeworm. Echinococcus granulosus, we say dog tapeworm. Echinococcus granulosus, dog tapeworm. So Trematoda, Fasciola hepatica, we say. Okay, so this is Fasciola hepatica. Okay, so this is Fasciola hepatica. This is Dugitia in the diagram. You can see here. Dugitia. Okay, so we end up. This is phylum Platyhelminthes. Phylum Platyhelminthes.